60 Minutes Rewind.
What an historic season for baseball. Just 4 years after the players' strike and a canceled World Series, comes along a Mark McGwire and a Sammy Sosa, and baseball is back as our national pastime. But chances are you have never heard about Ila Borders, who's come along to break one of professional baseball's cardinal rules. Borders is a 23-year-old young woman in a league of her own, the first woman ever to pitch in men's professional baseball. As you'd expect, the mere presence of a female on a minor league ball club is enough to cause a stir. But Borders has really been getting under the skin of the men in baseball. In professional baseball, striking out against a female pitcher is not just unprecedented, it's unthinkable. But that is exactly what was happening this summer when we first caught up with Ila Borders. She was pitching for the Duluth Superior Dukes and facing the best team in the league, the Fargo-Moorhead Redhawks. She was striking out professional hitters, men who believe they're good enough to play someday in the major leagues. Borders stymied the Redhawks, leaving their most dangerous hitters talking to themselves, like all-star catcher Chris Coast.
The only thing that was going through my mind was how I'm going to see myself on 60 Minutes striking out. I can't even tell you how many pointers guys were giving everybody. I mean, stay back, be patient, take it to right field, stride late, take a pitch. I mean, all these things. And you know, you're on your way up to the plate, and you're actually thinking of this stuff, and you get there, and it all's erased. It's almost unexplainable, the feeling you get when you look up at her, and she's coming her wind up, her hair's flying around. And it's a trip, I'll tell you.
But even after she shut out the Redhawks for 6 innings, some of their players still insisted she does not belong in professional baseball.
I don't understand what she's trying to prove. I mean, baseball has always been, I won't say a men's game, but men have just always played it, and that's the way it is in the big leagues.
Borders has been hearing talk like that since she was a kid growing up in La Mirada, California. She started out playing softball with the girls, but at the age of 10, she announced she wanted to play baseball with the boys. You wanted to play Little League?
Mm-hmm.
Right from the beginning?
Right from the beginning, yeah.
And they're saying, Ila, go away.
Basically, yes.
That must have knocked you down a little bit.
Not then. I've always had this fierce spirit of doing what I want to do. I've been raised that way. If you want to do something, then you go out there and you do it the best you possibly can. And don't let anybody get in your way.
And she didn't. From the start, she was a phenomenon. Not just because she was a girl, but because she was a very gifted ball player. And her passion for the game surprised even her dad, Phil Borders, himself a former semi-pro ball player.
She would call me up at work on a Friday and ask me what time I'm coming home. By the time I'd get home, she'd have all the baseballs and all the bats laid out in the front yard waiting for me to get home. So I've never had to ask her, do you want to go play baseball?
Where do you think this passion came from?
I have no idea, but it's an unquenchable thirst, and she just can't get enough of it.
Ever since Little League, Borders has always pitched on all-male teams. A dominating left-handed pitcher, she set records in junior high school that still stand today. And as a high school senior, she was named most valuable player on her team. And she didn't stop there. First woman to go to college on a baseball scholarship. Mm-hmm. First one to pitch in professional ball. First woman starting pitcher. First woman to win a professional ball game. So, pioneer. You feel like a pioneer?
No, just because, to me, it's just I'm playing this game because I love it.
Are you in any sense a feminist?
No. Feminist, to me, is a person that goes out there and plays baseball because they want to make a statement that, you know, women are superior than men, or women can do it. Some people actually come up to me and say, I'm glad to, that you're out there to show that women can do it too. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not out there for that reason, I'm out there because I love the game.
But the game, and the men who play it, haven't shown much love for Ila Borders. Out on the field, what kind of comments do you hear from the other players, other team?
Mostly obscenities, I would tell you. That.
What kind of obscenities? Seriously.
Seriously.
We can bleep them if they're too obscene.
Well, most of them are all obscene. There's not one nice word that they think of every rotten word you could think of. That's what basically they're yelling. I can handle the verbal stuff. That doesn't bother me whatsoever because I've heard everything. But, when it gets to the physical aspects, that's what kind of...
The physical aspect?
Yeah, that's what ticks me off.
What do you mean?
Like in college, it got so bad that, my teammates were trying to harm me physically,
How?
I'd be out, as a pitcher, you shag and in the outfield, and I would pick up the
Shag
balls.
balls?
Shag balls, yeah. Well, the guys would be out there, and they'd pick up the balls, and I'd be putting them in the bucket. I'd turn my back, and they would just rifle as hard as they could from like 30 feet away and just nail me in the back. Coming home to my roommate, and she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what is up with your back?" I'd have like just welts all over me. And she'd be like, "What in the heck are you doing this for?" And I go, "I can't let them get the best of me."
This past summer, that determination won her a spot on the Duke's starting rotation. But in 8 games, she won only 1 and lost 4. However, in one streak, she pitched 12 consecutive scoreless innings, which turned some heads in the Northern League.
Even in high school, you never thought that the girls could play with the guys.
George Mitterwald played 11 seasons in the major leagues. Now he manages the Dukes. He says Borders has proven she belongs on the team.
If you watch her work, and you watch her out in the field, and you watch her run by some of the other pitchers, and you say, she really wants it. She wants it bad.
Do you manage a woman differently from the way you manage a man?
The only thing different is I have a habit of patting people on the rear end. I've always done that. When I was a catcher, I did that. And with her, I don't do that.
Despite her ups and downs, when Borders pitches at home in Duluth, attendance soars.
My job is to pitch and keep my team in the ball game.
After every game, she's mobbed by the media and by hordes of young fans to whom Ila Borders is a hero. Jim Wadley is co-owner of the Dukes, the man responsible for bringing Borders to Duluth.
Didn't she upset the chemistry of your team when she first came aboard?
She sure did, as far as I was concerned.
Did
She increased it. She helped the chemistry of this team. The intangibles that Ila created by coming here with her work ethic and her ideals of work and what this was all about, she was giving a level of professionalism that maybe some of these guys didn't have last year.
But Ila is part of the team only up to a point. Before every game, she dresses by herself at home or at the hotel. After the game, she goes home to shower. She's rarely allowed in the locker room.
So much happens in here. Like when guys talk and they bond, this is where the bonding takes place. So it's kind of hard for her to bond with us as much as everyone else because, she's got to go out there and dress and she can't really come in here with us.
And she makes a point of not socializing with her teammates after the game.
Don't date any baseball players, especially the ones on my team. I know baseball players way too well. I'm not going to date one.
Well, what does that mean?
I'll just leave it as that. I want to marry like a doctor or a librarian. That's what I want. No baseball players.
She admits it's a lonely life. She's not paid much, only $1,100 a month. And until this year, she says, she's never had a friend on any of the teams she's played on.
So I just stick to myself and I stay in the hotel room. And that gets tiring after a while, going from hotel to hotel room, not talking to anybody.
Watching a lot of television and writing to your friends?
A lot of reading, actually, yeah.
I understand you read Jackie Robinson's biography.
Yeah, and that helped me out a lot, to tell you the truth, because there's stuff that occurs sometimes, and you're like, well, how do I go about this? And I'm like, well, who's been here before? It's Jackie Robinson. Somebody gave me his book, and I read it in one day, and it was great reading that because I'm like, wow, this happened to somebody else too.
The story will continue after this.
Ila Borders facing the right-hand hitting D. Dalton. The first pitch is swung on and missed.
Every time Ila takes the mound, it's another test to prove to skeptics that she belongs in the league. Her critics say she simply doesn't throw hard enough to pitch in pro ball. On this game day in Duluth, she was starting against the Sioux City Explorers, and just before the game, I talked with one of her critics, Explorers manager Ed Nuttall.
She has no future in this business. You have to see major league tools, I think, to continue allowing somebody to go on a professional field.
Looked pretty good. She had, 12 scoreless innings just the past couple of weeks?
I love you. I've followed you forever, but you'd never be my scouting director, I'll tell you that.
Borders' father, her mother Mary Ann, and her little brother came all the way from California to see her pitch. And what they saw was a harsh dose of baseball reality.
That's hit well to left center field, and they're saying home run on that one. It's 4-0, Sioux City.
She was hit hard and pulled out of the game in the second inning after giving up 7 runs, including 3 home runs.
When you get battered around like what happened last night,
Yeah.
do you still love the game?
At that point in time, no. But the next day, yeah. I just need to get back out there again. I've had 4 great starts and I've had 3 bad starts. That's what I really need to work on is consistency, but I just wish you could have seen a better game because I'm better than that.
Former San Diego Padres pitcher, Cy Young winner Randy Jones, watched Borders pitch. We had asked him to come to Duluth to give us a scouting report.
She belongs in pro ball?
Sure, she belongs in pro ball.
Not necessarily major league ball.
No, I'm not sure major league baseball. I think we're stretching that. She'd have to show me a lot more if she wanted to play major league baseball.
How much of the criticism that's directed against Ila Borders is because of the way she pitches, and how much simply because she's a woman who has invaded their game?
I would say 70% because she's invaded the game, maybe 30%, because, yeah, for ability to pitch. And
They just don't want a lady around.
Sure. They didn't want blacks at the Masters for years in golf.
They didn't want blacks in the ball game.
That's true.
Jackie.
Until Jackie Robinson. Yeah. I think the problem is Ila Borders, when she was a lot younger, got a dream in her mind. She got a dream that she wanted to pitch. And what she's doing is she's pursuing that dream. And how can anyone out there really question someone that's out pursuing their dream?
No one knows how far Ila Borders will go in professional baseball, but for her, at least right now, she's exactly where she wants to be.
Wow. Sometimes I just get there, I'm like, I can't believe what I'm doing. I'm living a dream. I'm playing professional baseball. I'm on a great team. I have great support. This is just so amazing that everything's happening basically what I wanted to happen since I was 10 years old.